ask me to pick a top 5 from these maps we just named, I think if you want the best Call of Duty map of all time, it would have to be none other than.
Hey, it only took 3 days out of the week, but we are finally starting on the right audio setting. Let's go. Welcome back to day number 127 of 500. If you don't know who I am, what I do, challenge doing for myself, post 500 days straight, get a video up, be consistent, no matter what, whether it's good or bad, should get it up there. And hopefully they are good. So hopefully, you know, my talking and my topics that I pick are actually intriguing and you can listen to it the whole time, because the crazy editing, it's just not manageable right now. However, one day it will be. Trust me, one day it will be. After the summer internship, I'm hoping I got all the materials I need and I can do that. And if you are new around here, hey, welcome. Appreciate you being here, but can you consider subscribing? Maybe even drop a like on the video. I'd appreciate it so much. Thank you guys if you do. I gotta have class right now, but appreciate it if you would. I mean, it's right down there, both of them. They're free. Why not? You know, help me out. Why not? Just hit it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Moving on to the topic of today's video, though, we are going to be talking about my favorite Call of Duty map of all time. Before we do that, I need to head out to class. It's going to be just a little flash for you guys. It's going to be a second, so it's not going to take long at all. However, I got to go to class, and we're starting late today. We don't start class until 10. Usually we start at 8. So I got to sleep in until 9 instead of 7, which is part of the reason why the audio is on the right level today. And I am so glad, because I got to sleep in, got to get this set up on the right thing. It's just a good day, man. It's going to be a good day. Chess in the gym, too. Woo-wee. So I'm going to go to class, hit the gym as well, and I'll come back, and we're going to do favorite multiplayer map / best. Favorite / best, and campaign. I mean, it'd be like a mission, so I don't really think we're gonna touch on that. So let me head out, go to class, and hit the gym, and then I'll catch up with you guys right after. Oh my, let the camera adjust. Here we are back from the gym. Nasty chest day. Nasty. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Moving on from that though, we'll start getting into these maps, and I would like to preface this by saying there is multiple ways we could do this, and yes, there are multiple Call of Duty games out by this point in 2025, so I know there is amazing maps I'm gonna miss out on, and I want to reiterate as well, I think I said best maps earlier, but we're kind of doing like my favorite maps, so my best / favorite, I guess, if you want to call it that. Now obviously you have all the classics everyone knows, like Raid, Hijack, Nuketown, obviously the most popular map ever, maybe High Rise, Terminal. Of course, you have all these greats that everybody knows, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about more obscure ones that people wouldn't think about. That's what I'm here to mention. So just know all the good maps that everyone loves. Trust me, I love them as well. Those are the best maps in the game, so why wouldn't I like them? So yes, we'll still touch up on the most popular maps a little bit, but we're gonna try and stray away. I'll just mention them for each game that I go over. That way we can kind of know the majority of the community loves, I should say, and then we'll have the ones that I think are underrated or just don't get enough love or things of that nature. Also, I think that it would be a very good idea to make another one of these, but for zombies maps only, so I'm keeping this one to strictly multiplayer, and zombies, we can do another video on that. I already know my top 5, right? I already know, but they're my favorite top 5, not the best, but my favorite to play. So we could do best and favorites in one video, separate videos. We could just do one or the other. Let me know down below if you guys want to see any of that, because I think I can make a banger list for that. And we could do an entire tier list as well. That's another idea that I've had. So I've got a couple in the chamber. So just comment down below. Let me know which one you guys want to see specifically, and we will cover that one. And we're going to kind of go in chronological order with a couple games, and we're going to go from Modern Warfare 2 will be our first one. Our second one will be Black Ops 1. Our third one will be Black Ops 3, and then we will move on and do Black Ops 2, and we'll do Black Ops 3. So we're going to do, how many games did I just list? MW2, BO1, MW3. So those 5 games? Yeah, the 5. First things first, let me get my protein shake in, and then we'll start talking and mention about it.
But I lied to you guys just a wee bit, because we are also going to talk about some World of War maps and some MW 2019 maps. That'll make sense, I promise. So 7 maps, or 7 games in total. First off, starting with the World of War maps though, we're not going to spend a lot of time on these ones. There's not a lot of really good maps, I would say, for World of War. It was just kind of them starting out. But I will say the dome map from World of War You're thinking dome. No. It's not the dome from MW3. We'll get to that later. And if you've played Dome from World at War, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're like, oh, that is a really good map. And I just unlocked a new memory for you. And I'm putting Dome on here just because I feel like it was the first map that was actually somewhat solid and it's nostalgic, and it was remade in one of the recent games. I think it was Vanguard. So definitely not a good look for the map. However, it was remade, and it's just a classic. Honestly, that's all there is to it. Dome is such a classic map, and also another World at War map that I find really fun and enjoyable. And this is purely nostalgia based because me and my buddy, we used to go to his house and we would just boot it up on his Xbox 360. We'd play split screen World at War with each other. All right, say we're not screen peeking, and I know darn sure I was. So if he wasn't, that's on him for not taking advantage of it. But I definitely was screen peeking, and it is Asylum. Now, again, it might not be that good of a map. I honestly do not remember. I was, 6, 7, maybe 8 playing that game. And so I couldn't tell you if it was actually genuinely good. But pure nostalgia factor, it's got to be up there for me. I just remember we'd both pick like the belt gun and we'd be going around, just crouching around the map, trying to find each other. I'd be looking up at his top screen. I'd be trying to find out where he is on the map and trying to get to him. Man, that was a fun time. It was really enjoyable. Moving on from that, we have Modern Warfare 2 now, which is what I originally said we were going to cover first. And Modern Warfare 2, of course, you've got the classics. Like I said earlier, you've got High Rise, you've got Terminal, and of course, you have none other than Rust. Everyone knows Rust. Everyone loves Rust. If you want 1v1 on a Infinity Ward game, it's Rust. You're playing Rust. If you want 1v1 on a Treyarch game, it's going to be Nuketown, but we'll save that for when we get to there. Lots of good maps actually came from this game, the original MW2, and I'm sure you guys all know now in the newer games because that's all they do is maps back into the new games. So I'm sure all of you have played them, but you might not have played them originally. But this game introduced a lot of other good maps like Scrapyard, Quarry, and oh gosh, there's one other really good one. I cannot remember its name. Holy crap, hold on, I gotta look it up. Oh, Skid Row and Karachi, that's what it is. And Estate and Afghan. I don't remember if I said that right or not. And Derail, that's in the new one, I know that. So just throwing that one out there again. And Favela, that one is highly underrated. Not really. It's really not. But it is a classic, I think, so I'm going to throw that one in there. I think the best map from MW2, in my personal opinion, again, this is just me, and because I play a lot of Search and Destroy, I love to troll, so it's got to be Crash. Crash is such a good map when it comes to Search and Destroy. I think it's one of the best Search and Destroy for pubs. For pubs, not for competitive, but for pubs, it's one of the best Search and Destroy maps, I think. Find me in the comments, but I think that's the truth, and I'm going to stick to it. And if I had to pick some more maps to go with MW2 that I'm picking as my best, of course, Terminal. I love Terminal, and it's one of the popular ones, but I love it, so I'm throwing that in there. And the last one, I mean, it's definitely not going to be Underpass. Underpass was buns. I'll stand by that. So if you like Underpass, I'm sorry. It's just not for me. Last map I could throw into the mix with those two, it has to be Scrapyard. I think Scrapyard is kind of enjoyable for Search again. I'm basing most of these rankings off of Search. If I don't say it's for Search, it's obviously not for Search, but I will make it known when it is for Search. I just feel like I had to point that out before we kept on going here. So I would say those are my top ones for MW2, my best/favorite ones, again, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know. I guess favorites is what we're doing because I kind of list the best and then I go through my favorites. So we're kind of doing both. But before we chug this, let's get our food out for the day, get it going. That way, once we're done yapping, it's already done and we can eat at the end of this video. I mean, I don't really have a lot of options. The same thing as yesterday, pretty much. I could have some Hot Pockets if I want, and then same thing I've been making, and some popcorn chicken and some pizza rolls. That's really about it. So we don't got a whole lot to go off of here, but I think we're just going to do the same thing as yesterday. Jumping into the Black Ops 1 maps, and this is another one where there's a lot of classic maps that I could list off, and I'll name them, but I mean, it's just crazy how many maps that they recycle and retake from MW2 and BO1 throughout all these years and reuse for pretty much every new COD since then. Starting off with the popular ones here, obviously, we've got none other than Firing Range, none other than Nuketown, and then the last one that I would say is the most popular from there is probably Launch, the Ascension map from Black Ops 1. It's zombies. You launch a rocket. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows that. right? Or if people don't, necessarily want to include that in there, you have maps like Summit, which is really good, WMD, and those I'm also going to throw on my favorites. I don't know what it is about Black Ops 1 maps, but I think just the contrast of the colors and everything that they had, I think it just goes so well together, and the vibe, it feels like you're actually in it, and it feels immersive. That's the word I'm looking for. It feels immersive, and you're actually in the experience yourself. So I think that's why I love a lot of these Black Ops 1 maps, and honestly, Black Ops 2 had some good ones as well. But I don't think anyone did it quite like Black Ops 1 when it comes to feeling actually immersed inside the maps themselves. I think they take the cake on that one. Personally, I think those are what you could deem as the most popular on BO1, and my favorite ones from there, Firing Range has to be thrown in there. And Jungle is another classic from Black Ops 1, but I'm not throwing that in my favorites. I think that it gets more hype than it should, or used to at least. Nobody talks about it anymore, obviously, but I think it did get more hype than it should have. It's not a bad map by any means. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't think it was as good as people made it out to be. So Firing Range, and then also Summit. I love Summit, so I'm throwing that in there. And WMD. I think that one's underrated, honestly, so I'm throwing that one in there. And other ones that aren't considered as the popular ones that I just listed off that I love from Black Ops 1 and put as some of my favorites. Radiation. I don't know if you guys even know of this map, but I used to load into a private match, play against bots all the time on this map. Big part in the middle that you can go into the bunker. Oh my gosh. I was so obsessed with it as, again, probably 6, 7, 8, however old I was at this time playing this game. And it was incredible to do that. And then the last one that I would add in also is Array, or is it Array? Something 18. Hold on. Hangar 18. Gosh, Array's another map, so I got them confused. Hangar 18. And why do I say Hangar 18? Well, really not because it's a good map, but just because I remember playing it, and my dad actually played it with me once, and so it was just kind of a wholesome thing and a memory that I keep, near and dear to myself, because it's the only time my dad's ever really tried to play video games with me or my brothers, and I don't know why he did, but I just specifically remember one day he came in and he randomly was just like, hey, give me a controller. Like, let's see what happens. And so we loaded a private match, me and him, and we were shooting some bots, and it was hilarious. I just remember him like laying on top of one of the planes, just sitting there and just holding down the aim the entire time. And he went prone at one point, and then he'd see people and he just wouldn't even shoot. He'd just track them and let them walk by. Oh man, I love it, man. That was such a wholesome moment for me. So yeah, just kind of got to throw that one in there for that reason. A little sentimental value. So this brings us into our MW3 maps. I think out of all of these maps, I think the MW3 maps are the most underrated ones. I feel like people just look over them and they don't actually realize how many good maps MW3 has. And I don't think they realize how good MW3 as a game as a whole is. I think it is severely underrated. Maybe that is just me. However, I believe that MW3 does not get the love that it deserves. Before we start diving too far into these maps, let me get this thing down. So yeah, pop her open. Cheers, bottoms up. If you guys are new around here, consider subscribing to the channel, dropping a like on this video if you want to see more content like this. Appreciate it so much. Thank you guys for any support you show me. Leave a comment even. Again, if there's any topics, it doesn't have to be Call of Duty related, just anything at all you want me to talk about, leave a comment down below. Appreciate it so much. It's right down there. Right down there. Takes 2 seconds. Drop a sub, drop a like. Appreciate it so much if you do. Thank you guys. Cheers. Bottoms up. Easy. I say that and then I start dying. Let's get into these maps now. And when I say I think these maps are underrated, yes, I think they are very underrated. There are so many good ones on MW3 and nobody ever talks about them. I think they are very good. So first things first, the popular ones, the obvious Dome. I mentioned earlier, Dome was introduced here, the actual Dome that a lot of people know and love. And again, I love both the Dome maps. I think they're both great, but this one a lot more people know. I think at least they do. The next popular map from MW3 and probably the obvious one is Hard Hat. I feel like everybody loves Hard Hat. Can't really go wrong with it. Just feels like a good fluid map. Honestly, there's not really much else to it. And from here, I feel like any map you want to put as the third most popular, you could, honestly. They were all that good, but I'm about to list off multiple that I find as my favorite ones and the best ones at the same time. My first favorite one, which I feel like a lot of people will know, and maybe this should be the third most popular one, is Arcaden. I feel like this map is severely underrated. No one talks about it nowadays, but I feel like it is actually one of the GOAT maps. Really, not for any particular reason besides the fact I just remember I always voted it when it came up because it was a good map to play. And so can't complain one bit when you have a map that you love and you want to play it. So why not vote for it? But this isn't the only one because there's also maps like Resistance. Yo, talk about another goated map that nobody talks about. Did I know how to pronounce it back in the day when I was 8, 9, maybe even 10 playing it? No, I had no idea. But I loved playing it. It was such a good map. And honestly, for the longest time, I thought it was called Renaissance, but no, it's called Resistance. And I don't know why my brain couldn't comprehend it back then. I don't know why it was able to comprehend Renaissance, but not Resistance. But it couldn't. But the best part is this isn't even where it ends for MW3 because you had more maps that were amazing. Another one I think severely underrated, and for again no particular reason, but I just liked it. Maybe it was because of the search aspect. I honestly don't know. But Seatown, I think Seatown is another very good map from MW3 that nobody talks about. And then of course you've got some other ones which are kind of more mainstream, I think, and Underground and Village and Mission. Oh my gosh, Mission was so fun to play Infected on. I just remember trying to find every hiding spot I could as a kid on every map, but on Mission especially because you could go in so many different spots and blend in with the map. Man, take me back, honestly. MW3 as a whole is so underrated, but those maps right there, those are underrated, in my opinion. I think this game has the most underrated ones. I said it, and I've said underrated for pretty much every map I've listed here, but it's the truth, because nobody talks about these maps. But this brings us into Black Ops 2, where I feel like you had just as many goated maps, and again, it's one of these that I don't know. It's kind of the opposite, though, at the same time, because I feel like you're going to know all these maps I'm about to name off. So it might be hard for these ones to separate the most popular to my favorite / best ones, but I'll try my best to do it, but it's kind of the same as MW2. I feel like everyone just knows these maps because they're that iconic. In fact, there's so many good ones from BO2 that I can't even think of them all off the top of my head, like remember them all at once. So I gotta look at the list and read them off to you guys. So let's just jump in here. Obvious ones. All right, Nuketown 2025 came out. Everyone loves it. It's probably the best version of Nuketown that we've got. It's not the OG, but it is very good, I will say. And then you've got Raid, another classic, easily one of the best maps. And there's also Carrier, which was a very popular trick-shotting map that people played on, and it was overall not even a bad map. Like, yeah, it was mainly used for trick shotting and sniping, but it really wasn't even that bad overall. Then continuing on, we have Express, which was another fun one. Meltdown, which I know a lot of people have mixed reviews about, but I feel like it really wasn't that bad. Then Slums, Turbine, Yemen, and Standoff. These are goated ones. And, of course, last but not least, Hijacked. Can't forget Hijacked. See what I mean? Those are all goated maps. And I had to make sure I got them all because I didn't want to miss any. Just like Grind. I almost missed Grind until I just repeat at this list. Now, of course, there were still some maps on this game that weren't that great, such as, let's just say, Cargo, for example. Looking back at it, what the heck was that map? That was not worth our time. Or Drone, even. You guys are probably, Drone? What's Drone? Exactly, that's my point. I think all my favorites, they just have to come from the most popular ones in this game because it's just that good. I mean, if it wasn't a map I named off, then it genuinely just wasn't a very great map. So I think I'm going to have to go with Nuketown, obviously, and Raid. Got to throw those two in there immediately. And Standoff. Loved Standoff. It was great for search, so of course I'm throwing Standoff in there. And one bad map that you were not allowed to forget about is Aftermath. Why does that map even exist? Well, my last one I'm going to consider a favorite of mine, and yes, it's another popular one, and yes, I really want to throw Hijacked in there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to throw this one in above it. I just got to do it. I'm going to throw in Express. Yep, I'm throwing in Express. I think it's another one of those that everyone knows it's good, but it's just underappreciated. I don't want to say underrated for this one because it is nowhere near underrated like those MW3 maps, but I feel like it's underappreciated. People just look over it because it is kind of that good, if that makes sense in a way. I feel like it doesn't, but I think you can get what I'm getting at. A way to describe it, it's like how Atlanta FaZe are right now in the CDL. They're so dominant that people just expect them to be that good. That makes sense, so when they don't, then everyone's shocked. But it's like you expect that map to just be there and be good, so when you don't think about it, you're like, oh, yeah, that is a really good one. Let's finally dive into some Black Ops 3 maps now, and this is another one I think is just severely underrated, and people take it for granted. And I don't really know why, honestly, because I can't really think of maps that I wouldn't want to load into on BO3 off the top of my head, besides maybe like Exodus and Breach. I mean, that one was, it was hit or miss. And then Havoc, no, nah, I'm not messing with that. But other than that, I mean, I can't really think of ones that I'm just like, no, I don't want to play it. Well, and some of BO3's DLC maps, but that really goes for every game that I'm talking about, so I'm not going to hold that against it. I'm trying to think of what maps BO3 would be known for. I think Infection has to be up there. I mean, I feel like even if you didn't play BO3, you've seen Infection a time or two in your life before, so you know what map that is. Obviously, you had remakes like Nuketown in there, but I'm not going to count those ones. I'd probably have to say like Combine is probably one that a lot of people know, even if they didn't play BO3, so we'll throw Combine in there as another popular one. It will be one of my favorites as well. Just throwing that out there before we get to that. Probably Fringe for the third popular one. I feel like a lot of people know Fringe, even if they didn't play, so we'll throw that one up there. For my favorites, I mean, I think I have to throw all three of those maps in there. I almost feel like I have to. They were very solid maps. So I'm throwing all three of those in there. But on top of that, I'm also going to put Hunted. Hunted was a very fun one. That was another one that was fun, not only for search, but also for respawns. And Michael Myers, oh my goodness, you guys. Me and my friends played that map so many times for Michael Myers. It's not even funny. Another underrated one's got to be Evac. I think Evac was also very fun. Also a little biased because Michael Myers, oh my, I knew all the routes. Oh my goodness. It was yesterday's video, I know, but Black Ops 3 is so underrated. You guys don't even understand. It was so good. If you aren't a fan of it, go back, replay it, please. I'm telling you, it's so good. Multiplayer, the zombies, it was all so good. Some maps that I really did enjoy on BO3 that were DLC, and there's two of them, are Splash and Micro. If you don't have Splash up there as a top BO3 map, you're trolling. That map was so fun to play. Maybe it was because I was younger. I enjoyed it even more because it was a water park themed. I mean, come on now. That is so cool. Actually, a very good map. Micro was a very cool concept, being micro compared to these giant foods next to you. Oh, yeah, that was a sick idea. All the other DLC maps there, nah, they're so-so. It depended on the day if they were good or bad. They weren't necessarily bad, but they weren't top like these ones. And finally, we are here at the MW 2019 maps, and then we're done. That's all we're covering today. However, this is another one that I feel like is, I don't want to say underrated again. It's just not appreciated because I feel like people moved on from it so fast to go into the new Call of Duties, and they're just too focused on hating on those ones to realize how good this one actually had some good maps. Let me explain, because there are some good ones, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that was a pretty decent map. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll listen and be like, nah, that map wasn't it. I don't really care, but these are the ones that I think are good and which ones I think are popular. So let's start with the popular ones, just like always. So the first and probably most popular one from this game is Shoot House. Everyone knows Shoot House. Everyone loved playing Shoot House 24/7. In fact, I feel like that's all a lot of people played for whatever reason. And then you also had maps like Hackney Yard, and let's give the nod to, let's say, Gunrunner for top 3. I think these are all great maps. I really do. And I enjoyed playing them all, but they're not all my favorites, and I say all because really just Shoot House isn't my favorite, but I am throwing Gunrunner and Hackney Yard into my favorites. Now, why am I doing this? Well, I'm search biased. I'm going to be honest. A lot of Search and Destroy was played by me and a 6-man on this game, and I love these maps for search. Hackney Yard, I mean, it was a great search map. It was a great hardpoint map. It was a great domination map. It was just a great map overall. And this game is also when, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You guys probably don't even know this lore unless you actually know me in real life, then you do know it. But this is when I started my own Call of Duty team. Yes, we started my own team, not professional, but competitive team. We played in a league. It was actually a lot of fun too, making my own team. It was called Clapping Cakes, and man, that was so fun. If anyone from there is watching this, love you guys. Shout out y'all, man. That was such a fun time. I was literally 14 years old. I was just becoming a freshman in high school, and I was running my own competitive Call of Duty team. That was a crazy time. I love that, man. If I could go back, I'd do that again. That was very fun to compete in that game. We actually did end up winning the league that we were entered in as well, and all those videos of our matches are actually up here on my channel, so if you want to go check those out, go for it. Unfortunately, we didn't even get to play the championship matchup, though, because they forfeited. That is crazy. So the losers' final run was actually better. Anyways, I think that matchup was heated. They were talking so much. Oh my gosh. If I could go back, I would. Anyway, staying on track here as best as we can. Some other good maps and my favorites from Modern Warfare 2019. You gotta throw Arc Life Peak in there. I think in terms of search and destroy, It is one of the best search and destroy maps ever. I'm talking just search, not the map as a whole. The map as a whole, I didn't really play it outside of search. Honestly, I really didn't. So I don't really know, but I know as search, oh my goodness, peak. It's a tried and true 3-lane map. It was great. It was great. Both the bomb sites were pretty even. I don't know. I think it's one of the top S&E maps of all time, maybe even top 5. I'd say definitely top 10, but maybe even top 5. I'd have to really think about it to be sure. 2 other maps that I really enjoyed would be Ramaza and St. Petrograd. Those were great maps, not only just for search either. Yes, they were great for search, but I loved playing those on any game mode. I think those maps are very underrated just as a whole, but I'm not going to really say they are. Like, yeah, I don't know how to word it, but they just don't get the love. Ramaza was one of those smaller, compact maps, but it was still very fun. St. Petro is a bigger, longer one, but it still felt compact in a way, and it was also very fun. So I'm putting both of those on there as well as my favorites. I have a lot from this game, honestly, quite frankly. That's what I mean. Looking back, the maps really weren't that bad from MW 2019. And last but not least, not because this is one of my favorite maps, but just because we were literally so good at it, and we literally never lost on it when we played Search on it in a 6-man. It's Piccadilly. Again, not a favorite. It just happened to be this way that we would never lose at it. We were so good at it. I feel like I just have to throw it in and give it the nod. Not as a favorite, but just as we were dominant on it map. And that wraps up all the maps we're covering in this video. So if you guys want to see more of this, any more maps or any CODs we didn't talk about or any maps I didn't mention, comment down below what your favorites are. Comment if you agree with what I said or not. If you agree with some of them, not others, or if I snubbed any maps, just let me know down below. Because again, there's plenty of Call of Duties we didn't even talk about in today's video. We just touched on the major ones pretty much, but there are still other ones we can cover. I feel like these are the best maps in general, though. If you asked me to pick a top 5 from these maps we just named, I honestly couldn't. But I think if you want the best Call of Duty map of all time, it would have to be none other than probably Nuketown. I mean, it's just so iconic. When you tell someone about Call of Duty who doesn't know about Call of Duty, they already know about Nuketown. And I'm not saying it's the best, but it is the most iconic. You understand the difference? It's the most iconic. We'll definitely go for Nuketown. I feel like that fits. However, this is going to do it for my video today. So thank you guys so much for being here. Day number 120. What is it, 6? 27? Oh, shoot. Dang, this is day number 127. I forgot already. Jeez, that's crazy. All right, well, looking forward into tomorrow. I don't really know. We might talk about Call of Duty again because I do have another idea, but I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow. We might, because I do know I'm going golfing tomorrow with my brother, so we might just do more of a normal day in the life rather than actually having a set topic to talk about. We'll see where the day takes us. I honestly haven't decided yet which one or two I'm going to do, but that's a little sneak peek into tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a good rest of y'all's days. And again, let me know down below if you agree or disagree with this, and if there's anything else you want to see me talk about. I love y'all. Peace.